An update on the critical negotiations over Arizona's water supply. Colorado River water. Last week, Governor Hobbs met with leaders of 6 western states in Washington, D.C. to discuss how we divvy up the Colorado River.
15 miles west of Phoenix, a geologist stands at the edge of a wound in the desert floor. The crack stretches in a nearly perfect line across the valley, 1.2 miles long. In some places, it yawns 15 feet wide and plunges 30 feet deep. 5 years ago, this fissure did not exist. Today, it is widening by inches every year. She kneels at the edge, measuring the separation. 8 more inches than last year. She photographs exposed sediment layers, bands of sand, gravel, and clay, stacked like the pages of an ancient book. She logs GPS coordinates and compares them with previous surveys. This is not an earthquake scar. This is not flash flood erosion. This is land subsidence. The ground is sinking because something beneath it has been removed. That something is water. Not recent rainwater, not river runoff, but groundwater, stored deep underground for nearly 10,000 years. Water that accumulated during the last ice age, when Arizona's climate was wetter and cooler. Water that seeped slowly into underground aquifers, filling vast porous rock formations beneath the Sonoran Desert. And now, that ancient reserve is disappearing. The greater Phoenix metropolitan area, home to more than 5.6 million people, is pumping groundwater far faster than nature can replace it. Arizona receives roughly 8 inches of rainfall per year in the desert lowlands. Natural aquifer recharge in central Arizona is estimated at about 150,000 acre-feet annually. But for decades, extraction has exceeded 2 million acre-feet per year. For every single acre-foot naturally replenished, many more are removed. The difference is made up by mining fossil water, liquid savings accounts built over millennia and drained within a human lifetime. When water is pumped from an aquifer, it does more than empty underground space. It removes structural pressure. Aquifers are made of sediments, sand, silt, gravel, clay, with tiny pore spaces filled with water. That water pressure helps support the weight of everything above. Remove the water, and those pore spaces collapse. The sediments compact. The land sinks. And when different areas sink at different speeds, the surface fractures. Arizona has mapped more than 160 earth fissures across the state, many near rapidly expanding communities. Some are long enough to stretch 2 miles. Some are wide enough to swallow vehicles. But the fissures are not the core crisis. They are symptoms. The deeper issue is that one of America's fastest-growing cities sits in a desert that cannot naturally sustain its current scale. Imagine this. In 2018, you bought a home in Buckeye, a fast-growing suburb west of Phoenix. The subdivision was newly built, 200 homes rising from what used to be farmland. The developer assured buyers that water supply was secured. You didn't ask where it came from. You assumed the state had it under control. In 2025, you receive a notice from your water provider. Rates will increase by 73% over 3 years due to declining aquifer levels and regulatory limits on new groundwater pumping. Your monthly bill climbs from $87 to $150. It hurts, but it's manageable. Then a second notice arrives. Your area is designated an inadequate water supply zone. Under Arizona law, no new development can proceed without proof of a 100-year water supply. Construction halts. Growth freezes. Property values fall. Your $310,000 home appraises at $254,000 within months. You can't sell without taking a loss. You can't refinance because the equity vanished. 2 miles away, an earth fissure opens, 3,400 feet long and still expanding. County officials erect barriers and warning signs, but the crack keeps creeping toward residential streets. Insurance doesn't cover fissure damage. Federal disaster relief does not classify fissures as eligible catastrophes. You are living in a house that sits atop sinking ground, in a region running out of water. This is not speculative fiction. It is a slow-moving reality. To understand how Phoenix reached this point, we have to go back thousands of years. During the late Pleistocene epoch, Arizona's climate was dramatically different. Glacial melt from mountain ranges fed rivers and lakes. Rainfall was far more abundant. Over centuries, water seeped downward into deep aquifers beneath the valley floor. By the time modern settlement began, these aquifers stored hundreds of millions of acre-feet of water, an immense underground reservoir. For thousands of years, indigenous communities farmed the region sustainably, relying largely on surface water from rivers such as the Salt and Gila. The transformation began in 1867 when Phoenix was founded as an agricultural settlement. Farmers drilled wells to supplement unreliable river flows. Groundwater seemed limitless. Between 1900 and 1950, the city grew steadily. Wells were drilled deeper as water tables slowly fell. Then came a turning point. Air conditioning became widespread. For the first time in history, large populations could comfortably live year-round in extreme desert heat. Phoenix marketed itself as a retirement paradise, a winter haven for those fleeing cold northern states. The population surged from 100,000 residents in 1950 to nearly 800,000 by 1980. Suburbs sprawled across the valley. Swimming pools shimmered in backyards. Golf courses carved emerald fairways into desert terrain. Water demand exploded. By 1980, groundwater levels in parts of central Arizona had dropped more than 200 feet below natural conditions. Yet development continued. Today, the Phoenix metro area uses more water annually than its sustainable supply provides. Surface water, imported from the Colorado River and regional river systems, accounts for a significant share. But prolonged drought across the Southwest has reduced allocations. Climate change has intensified evaporation and decreased snowpack feeding the river system. That leaves groundwater. Groundwater levels have declined nearly 300 feet in some areas since 1980. Recent measurements show drops of more than 6 feet in a single year. Deeper wells mean higher pumping costs, more electricity, more infrastructure investment, and deeper water often carries higher concentrations of dissolved minerals and contaminants, raising treatment expenses. Farmers are among the first to feel the strain. As water levels drop below 1,000 feet, pumping costs skyrocket. Margins evaporate. Crops become unprofitable. Farmland is sold not back to desert, but to developers. Agricultural acreage in Maricopa County has declined dramatically over the past decade. The irony is brutal. As farms disappear due to water costs, their groundwater rights are often transferred to housing developments. The very depletion that bankrupts agriculture fuels suburban expansion. The cycle accelerates. More homes mean more water demand. More demand means deeper pumping. Deeper pumping means faster subsidence. Faster subsidence means more fissures. Population growth compounds the math. Projections show the metro area could surpass 6 million residents within a decade. Each person requires water, not only for drinking and bathing, but for cooling systems, landscaping, industry, and commerce. Even aggressive conservation measures are overwhelmed by sheer growth. The region already consumes more water annually than its sustainable supply. The deficit is filled by mining fossil groundwater. At current rates, accessible groundwater could become economically unreachable within the lifetime of homes being built today. What happens then? Without groundwater, Phoenix must rely almost entirely on surface water imports. That would mean strict limits. Grass lawns eliminated, golf courses shuttered, pools drained, high water industries relocated. The city would not vanish overnight, but it would change fundamentally. Property values could fall. Migration patterns could shift. Water rates could climb beyond affordability for middle-class households. The desert would begin reclaiming what was always desert. The crucial question is not whether Phoenix will run out of groundwater. The data already shows steady, accelerating depletion. The real question is whether the transition will be managed or chaotic. Will leaders implement strict growth limits, aggressive water recycling, and radical conservation policies now? Or will expansion continue until depletion forces abrupt, painful contraction? Cities do not create water. They move it, store it, pump it, treat it, but they cannot manufacture it from nothing. And fossil aquifers do not refill on human timescales. When they collapse, the compaction is permanent. Land that sinks does not rise again. Fissures that open do not close. The mathematics are not ideological. They are physical. 8 inches of rain per year, millions of residents. Aquifers dropping 6 feet annually. Nearly 300 feet lost since 1980. The desert is patient. Civilizations are not. Some societies recognize limits and adapt. Others exhaust their resources and decline. Phoenix stands at that crossroads. It is a modern metropolis powered by technology, air conditioning, and engineering marvels. It is also a city built on water laid down during the last ice age. When that water is gone, the options narrow. The question remains, will 5.6 million people acknowledge the trajectory while there is still time to adjust? Or will the cracks widening across the valley floor become monuments to a civilization that believed growth could outrun geology? The fissures expand quietly. The land sinks steadily. The groundwater falls invisibly beneath the surface, and the desert waits. If you found this breakdown eye-opening, make sure to like this video to help more people understand what's happening happening beneath America's fastest-growing cities. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep, data-driven stories about climate, infrastructure, and the hidden forces shaping our future.